Hello, good evening, and welcome to episode 13 of Montague Island Books. Now, this series of shows at Montague Island come from the island that Mike Craven, M.W. Craven, created when he did his curator book. And funnily enough, today the curator has been announced, has been longlisted for the CWA Gold Dagger. So big congratulations to Mike on that, because it is a brilliant book. But anyway, on to today. So I'm delighted to have two guests with us today, and for something a little bit different, we've got two authors, which is great. Now, our main guest, to tell you a little bit about her, she writes gangland sagas that are set in Battersea in South London, and that's where she was born and bred, and the council estates being her playground. After leaving school at 16 with no qualifications, she married soon after and had a son. The marriage ended quickly, and as a single mother, she worked in various retail positions until undertaking an Open University degree. This led to her becoming an analytical scientist and then into technical sales, where she met her husband. A few years later, they moved from Hampshire to Spain, and it was then that her mother, Sunday Times best-selling author, inspired Sam to put pen to paper. And she now writes a novel in sunnier climates with the company of her husband, 4 dogs, and 6 cats. Now, the new book that's out is called Siren. This has only been out a week, and it's doing really well. I've read it myself and really enjoyed it. But it's already got 69 reviews on Amazon, with 90% of them being 5 stars. 72 ratings on Goodreads, giving it a 4.82 mark or rating. And as it's only been out a week, so it's gone down really well. So I'm delighted to welcome to Montague Island this week Sam Michaels. Good evening, Sam, and I hope I did you well with the introduction.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. No, it's not sunnier climates today. It's absolutely bloody tipping it down out there.
That is amazing. It's sunshine, lovely sunshine in the Lake District, and rain in Spain. So that's great. Well, it's lovely to have you, Sam, and many thanks. I've been looking forward to this, particularly after reading The Siren. So would you like to introduce your special guest?
Well, my special guest is someone very, very special to me indeed. She's my mother, she's my inspiration, she's my best friend, and she's the best-selling author, Kitty Neale.
Yay!
Feels like this is your life, doesn't it? Keep expecting people to come now.
Oh, Kitty, how are we? You okay? I believe it's your first day on Zoom.
Hello. She's making me cry. I love her to bits, but she always gets me.
Oh, that's lovely. So first of all, Sam, and we'll give you mum chance as well, but first of all, you, Sam, do you want to tell us a little bit in more detail other than what I've just sort of said, without obviously giving any spoilers away, but do you want to tell us more about your books, where people can contact you, on social media, etc.?
Yep. Okay. Well, my books at the moment are a 4-book series: Trickster, Rivals, Vixen, and Siren. I've got them here, so you can see I've got fabulous covers.
Yeah.
They're all set around a fabulous woman, the dark hero, Georgina Garrett. They start with Trickster on the day that World War I was announced and she was born. And that book really is to give you the background behind her, to explain why she's like she is, because she's a very hard woman, very ruthless woman, but she's also got a heart of gold. So Trickster starts with her childhood, really, and how she gets into the criminal underworld. And then with Rivals, it picks up just before World War II, and she's now heading the underground, criminal underground of Battersea. And then in Vixen, that's in World War II, so she's got a lot more challenges, not just all the usual gangsters and rough and tumbles and everything else, but there's also a war on in London. And then Siren is just after World War II. And Siren, I am absolutely blown away because, as you said, the reviews have been fabulous. A lot of people are saying it's the best one yet, which I was surprised about, but delighted at the same time.
And the great thing I found, Siren was the first one in the series that I'd read. And sometimes when you read like book 4, it's like, I don't understand where all this is coming from. But in the case of Siren, it was fine. Although I hadn't read the first 3 books, it read great as a standalone. How do you get your head around writing, you know, with all the mobile phones and technology and everything at the minute? How do you get your head around writing 4 books before all that even existed?
I prefer it. I think it makes it a lot simpler. I really do think with all the mobile phones and the internet and everything else, it complicates things, you know. So I like going back to the history stuff because it's a lot simpler. Life was simpler and roles were more defined with men and women as well. So you can really sort of build on the characters, fitting them into their stereotypical role, which it was very much in those days. But it's been fabulous learning about the history of World War I and World War II. That's been a whole different journey by itself, and it's been so interesting.
Yeah, because I noticed just in, as I say, in Siren, which was, as you say, just after World War II, you do pick up quite a lot of things you might have already known, but it does make you go back and think, gosh, yeah, I wonder how that went on, you know, and like gangland crime, you think, well, you know, you think of it in like the 60s, 70s and so on, but you think, well, how the heck did they manage to do gangland crime when all World War II was, particularly in London, when it was getting bombed and, you know, and everything going on? You think, how did they manage to keep it going?
Well, it was rife. You know, criminality in World War II was rife. One, because of the black market. That was a huge thing going on. And also because there was lots of bombed out buildings. It was easy to get rid of a body. They had people going around armbands on with all of working for the government, you know, and they weren't at all. They were criminals. They were going looting all the shops and everything else.
And it was from every direction, wasn't it? The criminality was like, you know, it was coming from high above down to
contracts that were being won and everything else, you know, backhanders to the government. Yeah, it was rife. They did try and stop it. I mean, that, as you know, Siren starts off in Holloway Prison, and everything about the prison that I wrote about is true. I did really research that, and they really did come down hard on anyone racketeering in the black market and anything like that. So they tried to stop it, but of course it didn't work.
I think that's another good thing about Siren, is it gives you a bit of, because that's another thing you don't think about. You don't think about how it must have been in prison during the war for a woman.
Terrifying, I should imagine.
You know, it must have
They did release them from the cells. You know, when they narrate Siren, they did release them because there was sheer panic. But you're still confined, aren't you?
Yeah. Must have been a nightmare scenario. So that's we've got a bit more information about your books there. So if anybody wants to find out more about your books, have you got a website? What do you do on social media?
Well, I share a website with my mommy. So we're on kittyneale.co.uk. So you can find me on there. No, sorry.
It's
kittyneale.com. It's me told off by Mum.
Well done, Mum. Yeah.
Also, I'm on Facebook. I'm happy to take friends on Facebook. I've still got room because now you've got 5,000 maximum. So you can come and friend request me, and on Twitter also.
Right.
Just look up Sam Michaels.
Yeah, and books. Do you obviously bookshops are starting to open up again now, so I presume you can get them in all the usual places.
All the usual places online. On Amazon is the easiest place to get them. The paperback for Siren's not out till July, but then that'll be available everywhere as well. Vixen is only available in paperback on print on demand via Amazon. You won't find it in the other outlets like WH Smith's and their websites, etc. So only Amazon print on demand for Vixen.
Great. Okay. Have you? I didn't actually look. I should have looked before. Actually, have any of them been done in audiobook?
Only Trickster and Rivals at the moment, which is rather frustrating if you've heard them two and then you want to read the others and they're not there. So fingers crossed they get taken up on audio at some time, but not at the moment.
Right. Yeah, because I know a lot of people are into. I can't really get into audiobooks, but I know a lot of people really enjoy them. So that's great. And now time for your mum, Kitty Neale. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your books and your writing and where people can contact you?
Well, thank you very much. My name's Kitty Neale, and I write sagas, not gangland. I write London sagas. And I've written 22 books.
Wow.
And I can't show them all, but I will show my latest one,
Great.
which is called A Mother's Secret. And it's set in a pub in Battersea during wartime. And it's going to be a series of the same pub's going to feature but different characters. So that's the latest venture.
Great, wonderful. And again, where can people contact you? Obviously, Sam said about the website. Are you on social media?
I'm on Facebook, so just put in Kitty Neale, you'll find me on Facebook. I don't do any other stuff like Twitter and all that because I haven't got a clue how to do it. I'm very technophobe.
I must admit, I always come back to Facebook. I try Twitter and Instagram, but I always come back to using Facebook. But it's simpler, it's easier to use.
I'm a bit too old in the tooth to learn new things. You know what I mean?
Never too old.
You're writing and you had to send your manuscript to your agent. You had to send it in the post. Can you imagine the postage? And it was a long time. You could actually just send it via email, and boy, did that make a difference.
Difference.
Things have leapt a long way since I first started writing.
Definitely.
Which is good, really. I just know good stuff. I can't cope with it. My daughter laughed. My grandson laughed. Everybody laughs.
And on your books, are they all available in paperback or hardback, or are they ebooks? Or...
They're mostly available in paperback. This latest one, because I've got a new publisher, I'm now with Orion. This latest one is in hardback now, but it's coming out in paperback in September. Right. And they will all go to audio. All my books have gone to audio if people like audio.
So do you tend to use the same person to do your audio books, or do you use different?
Well, some of my books have got follow-ons, and on my website, people can find a list of the ones that have got follow-on, but mostly they're standalone. I don't think
she heard your question, Joe.
All right. That was going to be my next one anyway.
Don't you eliminate that, mother?
I was just saying that...
I'm deaf in one ear at the moment. I've got wax in my ear and I'm a bit...
Oh, how annoying is that? No, I was just saying about your audiobooks. Do you use the same narrator for each one?
Yes, Annie Adlington narrates all my books, and I love her. She really does a good job.
She's brilliant.
So, she is very good, Annie Adlington. So yeah, and if you want to order them, well, they're in all the bookshops and also online, so that's not a problem getting hold of them.
Brilliant, that's great. Well, it's lovely to hear both of you, and you've both got your own genres and you go your own ways, but it's nice to see the mother and daughter connection, and you're both writing. And I'm presuming, Sam, that your mother is who inspired you to write.
Of course, absolutely. I would never have done it if it weren't for me mum. Not just following her example, but also her. Sorry, the cat's nearly pulled the mirror down off the wall. No, let me take the mirror down. Sorry about that.
The cat's got to get in on the show somewhere.
Hands on me. It would have been a whack. Sorry. But yeah, not just following in her footsteps, but also her encouragement. She kept on and on at me. I should write a book, and eventually I did. And then, of course, the first person to read it was my mum.
Yeah.
And then she raved about it, and I thought, yeah, that's me mum. She's a bit biased, but yeah, this is the naughty boy who just nearly smashed the mirror.
So is your mum your most critical reader nowadays?
No, no, she says yes,
Yeah,
but she's not.
I am. I usually edit them for her before she sends them off. So yeah, I can be a bit critical.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much. I'm a bit naive. So Sam's books are like an eye opener for me.
And I suppose if you're editing them, you've got to be a bit critical of it. You know, you go to your daughter.
Yeah, but I love her writing. I really do. I think she's fabulous, and her research is amazing. You know, and that's one. I mean, Sammy enjoys research. I don't like research at all. So yeah.
Speaking of research, Sam, is it a case of do you do all the research yourself, or do you have your little black book of contacts that you can, just ring and say, well, in World War II, would this have happened, or do you tend to do it all yourself?
Google. Google's brilliant as well, because what I've discovered is, rather than looking at factual websites, the best thing to do is actually find people's memories. And I think the BBC have been archiving people's memories at the moment, which has been fabulous, because you can dip in and out and you can find out little bits and tidbits of information and weave it into your story. And first-hand accounts are the best, Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to find something because you'll be looking for something specific and you'll Google it, and it might be a restaurant that was in the 1940s or something. And you think, oh, sure, I've heard of one, such and such. And then when you Google it, all the modern terminology comes up and all the modern stuff, So sometimes it can be a bit time consuming, but most of it's fascinating. In fact, I get a bit waylaid sometimes. I start reading the stuff. I'm like, wow, and I think I should be writing.
Yeah, go down all different wormholes, don't you? And trying to find your way. But yeah. It must be, and I imagine the research must take a lot longer than that, even the actual writing.
No. No. I write quite fast, I think.
Yeah, great. Right, so we've spoke about both your books now, so we'll now whisk you off to our imaginary Montague Island off of Cumbria coast. So I hope you're wrapped, although, as I say, today's been a nice day, but it's still cold. So, so I hope you're wrapped up well. So looking at the 7 books that you're going to take with you, Sam, what's going to be your first book?
How to Survive on an Island.
Is this one you're going to write yourself, or?
No, definitely not. I think I'll contact Bear Grylls or someone for that one.
Definitely, yeah, but good idea, good plan. And Kitty, what's yours going to be?
I don't know, because I didn't know about these questions, because Sam just dropped me into this. So I got no idea. What would I take? My first book I'd take on an island.
Yeah, so 7 books that you'd take with you on the island that have either influenced you over time, or that you can always go back to and always enjoy.
Well, I think I'd have to have some do-it-yourself type books, because I'm used to anything like that. So we wouldn't be able to have anywhere to live or anything like that. So that's the practical one. I'm not into soppy romances, so that's an out. I actually rather like thrillers. So I think I'd take something like a James Patterson book.
Yeah.
As my second book.
Yeah.
I'm going to dwell about the rest, because I didn't know this question was coming. So go back to Sam.
Well, we've got 2 from you there, so we'll go back to Sam for her second one. So what's your second book going to be, Sam?
I would take something really big and thick that's going to be a good book that I haven't read, something like Great Expectations, because I've only seen TV adaptations of the Charles Dickens stuff. So I think I'd probably take something like that. Yeah,
that's good, because it's the kind of books that you always say you're going to read, but a lot of times you don't, because of the other things that come along. So it's great to have one that it's like historical in the fact that it's well known, and that you can get your own meaning out of it. So yeah, I like the sound of that. And what's your third book going to be, Sam?
I would quite like a picture book of photographs of where I used to live. Because if I'm going to be stuck on an island and I'm going to get older and my memory's going to go, it'd be nice to have some sort of memories, prompts, reminders of home.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's lovely. And Kitty, have you got another book?
I read a book a long time ago, and I've always told myself I'll read it again because it sort of fascinated me. And strangely enough, it was called The Time Machine by George Orwell, and I quite enjoyed it. So I think I'd take that because I'd read it again. I'd probably read it again because it wouldn't have much else.
Yeah, you gotta have something to keep you busy, and I think it's good sometimes to read a book again because you always find bits that you missed or you forgot about from the first time of reading. So it's it's good to have something like that. So we're now on to book 4. So what's your book number 4 going to be, Sam?
It's going to be a cookbook, but a cookbook with foraged foods, because I know nothing about what foods are safe to eat and are not safe to eat unless they're packaged for me in a supermarket. So it's something I've always sort of been interested in anyway, because living in Spain, we've got all sorts of different plants and everything out here that I'm told that we can eat. God knows what. So an educational book about foraging food.
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing you can experiment with, really, is it?
No.
Because if you eat the wrong one, it's all over. So it's probably a good idea to know what you can and what you can't eat, or what you can't eat. So, Kitty, have you got another book for us?
Well, funny enough, I was just going to go along the same lines as Sammy, and I was thinking about a survival book that I can't remember his name, but there's a chap on telly who does all this amazing survival stuff, and I think we'd need that.
Bear Grylls, I think Sam mentioned him earlier. Is that who you mean, Bear Grylls?
No, there's another one.
The SAS guy, I can't think of his name, and Middleton. Maybe,
so I maybe. Survival book, because I mean you'd need it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're in the cold.
Can't somebody build a hotel on this island?
We'll look into that one for you. So Sam, what's your book number 5?
Well, I was thinking about something complicated that I've not read, but I'd have plenty of time on my hands, wouldn't I, see on this island? So something that I could try and understand, something like Clockwork Orange. Because from what I've heard about Clockwork Orange, it's quite a lot to get your head around if you can make sense of it. So something that I could sit and muse.
Yeah, and take yourself off to another place. Yeah. That's good planning. And Kitty, have you got another one for us?
Well, I'm going to go back to my childhood now, and I'd like Peter Pan.
Oh, you can't beat that, can you?
I love the book and the film, so Peter Pan, and I can relive my childhood.
Yeah, and I think it's a book that a lot of people would always go back to that one as well, because it's a cracking book. It's timeless, isn't it? So great. And book number 6, Sam.
The Bible.
Oh.
No, not for any religious reasons whatsoever, just because in the Old Testament there's some fascinating stories about the Great Flood and everything else. So I think that there's so much in there.
Yeah.
It'd be quite interesting to have a really good read of it, and not look at it from the Word of God's point of view, but look at it for the good value of the stories. And
because there's that much in it, it's something that you don't have to read from page 1 to page whatever. You can just open it up and pick a story from it. So it's good, as you say, and no matter about the religious side of it, if however people feel, it's a story. The stories are just spot on, aren't they? And Kitty, what's your book number 6?
I think I'd like something on wildlife. I love wildlife. It'd be quite fascinating to see what sort of wildlife there is on this island, and if I found any, I could look it up. So to do with wildlife, I think.
There's a good programme actually coming up with David Attenborough. I was watching it earlier. Watching an interview with him earlier today, and showing how the animals have all changed over the last 12 months because of lockdown. You know, because a lot of them have had places to themselves. I think that's
it just shows you how much we've ruined this planet when you see that they're reviving because we're not doing all the terrible things we normally do to the planet. So it's all going to go back to how it was though once we're back to normal, isn't it? Which is a bit of a shame, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was out today and I saw an aeroplane, and it was like an aeroplane. It was just, you know, you get so used to seeing them, but we've not seen them for so long. It's like, you know, it's strange. But yeah, great wildlife, and as you say, on the island, you may need it. So we're now on the final book. So what's yours going to be, Sam?
Again, it's a book I haven't read, and I've heard wonderful things about it, and I haven't even seen the film, Harry Potter.
Which one? All of them, or?
If I'm allowed to take the whole lot, then I would, but if not, definitely the first one. Just something a little bit magical to take me away from the fact that I'm lonely on this island and missing everybody.
Yeah, and they're so well written as well, aren't they? The Harry Potter books are they're great, and you say total escapism. So I like the sound of that. And Kitty, what's your last one?
Well, she's just nicked mine because I love Harry Potter.
Well, Sam can take the first half of the books. Is it what is it? Eight books. So Sam can take the first 4, and you can take the second 4, and then you can swap them.
Yeah, because I do love Harry Potter. You know, I love J.K. Rowling because she brought children back to reading. I mean, before Harry Potter, most kids just sat watching telly, didn't they, or watching films or playing video games. But to see children queuing up outside bookshops to buy her latest book was lovely.
Yeah.
So I like you admire her, and I think she's done wonders. And I hate it when people start trying to pull people that are successful down. Yeah. You know, they shouldn't do that. So. And
I think she's probably brought more people to reading since, like, you know, for as you say, for so long. Probably Enid Blyton in the 60s or early 70s was the last person to do that, to get kids reading. You know, really. So yeah, great choice. So you both got your
imagination she's got.
Yeah.
What an imagination she's got. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
People are like going through all those books. It's like, yeah, amazing.
A bit like Sam's imagination, but ours is a different direction.
That's great. So you both got your 7 books, and we have an imaginary books set of books for you to take with you as well to the island to keep you company, and that's a set of the Tilly and Poe books from Mike Craven, where we got the name of the show from. So on the island, we believe there's about an hour of electricity every day. That's all you get. 1 hour of electricity. You're off a Cumbria coast. So you do get a bit of time to listen to some music and things like that. So you can take a CD with you. So Sam, what CD would you take with you if you could only take one?
I think it would be one of those variety CDs, rather than just one solo artist or one band, where you've got a bit of everything, like Now 67 or something like that. But one probably Motown, a Motown mixed CD.
Yeah, like that. Love Motown music. That's great. And Kitty, have you got a CD that you'd take?
Oh God, there's so many singers that I love. It's absolutely impossible, isn't it? I mean, could go on forever. But I think, like Sammy, I'd want a mixed one, because I couldn't just name one person. Because I mean, there's so much wonderful music out there.
Oh, there is.
So I'll be with Sammy there. I'm copying you, Sam.
So what genre would your sort of compilation be?
Well, not the modern stuff. I don't like rap. Show me age again now.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I'm the same.
80s, I think, probably.
80s. Yeah, great. So you'll
got Duran and all that, Mum.
Yeah, I love them all. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not keen on going back to the 60s, because I wasn't keen on the Beatles and all them. I wasn't really. I preferred Motown than that even then. So, I mean, the 70s was all right, but I still think the best music was the 80s.
Interesting, interesting. That's great. So you've got your CD, so you can both have your little party and dance around the island.
Very
So
nice.
now a DVD. Now this can be a DVD of your choice, but bear in mind you've only got an hour a day. But it can be a film, it can be a TV series on DVD, or it could be a music concert or whatever. So Sam, what would your DVD be?
I like Eddie the Eagle. That film was
Yeah.
brilliant. It was so
Was.
uplifting.
Stop nicking my bloody films.
She is your daughter.
And all the other films, you know, like the Love Actually, Notting Hill, all them lots. So something like that. Just a really good feel-good film.
Yeah. I did like that Eddie the Eagle. It was a great.
Brilliant,
I'm
wasn't
not
it?
really a film watcher, but I love that. It was just
Yeah.
great, especially having remembered him sort of doing it and what have you, and just doing the background story and how it was filmed was great. So you've had yours taken off you, Kitty. So what's another choice of DVD for you?
I actually love sort of I like things like Love Actually and Notting Hill and Bridget Jones and all that. You won't believe it, but I do. That'd be very hard to choose from them, I think. So I think I'll go with Love Actually.
Yeah, another great film. So and sounds like Sam likes that as well. So there'll be no argument.
I might let her borrow it.
So now we're getting on to so we've done the CD and DVD for your 1 hour a day of electric. Now, what is going to be your food or meal to take onto the island? That's something that you really enjoy or something that's memorable. So, Sam, what's yours going to be?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Without a doubt.
Any particular white white chocolate or just chocolate generally?
Chocolate in general, but I do love a Galaxy, do love a bit of white chocolate. And those, those Lindt chocolates in the red wrappers. Oh my God, they're to die for. Them and Ferrero Rocher. So yeah, any chocolate.
Lindt and Ferrero Rocher always remind me of Christmas. It's weird, isn't it? It's like, yeah, that's great. So that'll keep you going. Some chocolate, that's great. And Kitty, what would you take as a food or a meal?
You're talking to a London Battersea girl. It's got to be pie mash and liquor. Got to be. I mean, I'm quite here, so I'll be like on an island.
Just remember, being a northerner, I know the pie and mash, but what's the liquor?
Liquor's made with parsley sauce and the fish stock. And you have to smother it in chili vinegar. You know, that's how you have pie and mash. If you're not a Londoner and you're not used to having it, you wouldn't like it. I mean, my grandson lives in Manchester. I don't know where they went, but somewhere up north, Blackpool, I think. And he asked in a fish and chip shop for a Savoy, and they didn't know what he was talking about. I mean, come on, a Savoy? You must know what a Savoy is.
Hands up, I don't.
Really?
No, I'm a northerner.
It's like a north-south divide, isn't it?
Yeah.
People can read our books, Sam, that are in a London dialect, and they seem to get it,
I didn't really get a lot of. I'm just trying to think now. Reading Siren, which was only a couple of weeks ago, I read it. I don't remember there being that much London dialogue in it, to be honest. There was not many words where I thought, what does that mean? So maybe you've toned it down, Sam.
Yeah, I have to, because otherwise you do get that thing where people don't know what you're talking about. So as long as you can give a hint of a bit of a Cockney, like putting ain't in and what have you, you haven't got to keep doing too much of it, because it jars with some people, especially if they're not from London.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't think of a particular thing in yours where where I sort of struggle with the word, but that's good. That's good. So that's great. So yeah, great go through the food. So finally, we've got the luxury item. Now we've had some strange things over the weeks suggested for luxury items.
I think
We give your mum the giggles now. Your mum's got the giggles. Nothing like
I'm worried
that.
about what I'm going to say now.
So Sam, what is your luxury item going to be?
lipstick.
No.
I can't go anywhere without my red lipstick. But it's not just vanity, because if I'm on a desert island, I don't know who's going to see me, so it ain't about that so much. But my lips dry out and get really chapped, and I don't really like lip salves and that, so my red lippy will be with me.
So more than one reason for that then, yeah. So it's as I say, we've had people take pillows and cream and all kinds of things. Kitty, what's your luxury item going to be?
Oh, it's got to be something like blow up bed. I like my comfort. I don't want to
I
lay
thought
on
you were going to say something else then.
I was a bit worried.
No, I honestly, I'd be no good at camping. I'm frightened of spiders. I'm frightened of any insects. But I'd have to lay on something soft because I'm like that.
Oh, that's great. So you've both got good choices there. So yeah, I'll no arguments with them. Well, thank you both very much for going through all the different choices that you'll take to the island, and we hope you have a good time. I would have thought one of you would have probably said something like a duvet, because it's going to be quite cold just off the Cumbria
Didn't think of that. Didn't think of that. No.
But you'll have your luxury items and your foods, etc.
Yeah, but Joe, the survival book that I got will
Yeah.
tell me how to make covers out of leaves and things.
Mm.
Mm.
Good thinking. Good planning there, I see. That's great. Well, so thank you both for going through all those, and interesting to hear all the different choices. So just finally, before we finish, Sam, do you want to tell us a little bit again about your books and maybe what you've got in process for the next book? Is it going to be book 5 in the series?
Yes, book 5 in the series. I finished writing. Mum's just editing it for me at the moment. It's more of Georgina Garrett. Like I said, these are historical gangland sagas. They're not your typical gangland, and they're not your typical saga either. They're like a mismatch up of the two sort of genres. And they're really good books. Go and read them.
Definitely. There was a question I wanted to ask you about books, and I bet you know what it is, but I can't because it'll give the game away.
I
bet you can imagine what
I think so.
Yeah. But we won't spoil it because everybody needs to go out and buy it. And Kitty, what about yourself? Have you got any work in progress or anything at the minute?
Yeah. I'm doing the second book in the Battersea Tavern series. Bit of research has gone on in it, and I found out things I didn't know.
Right.
It's just another saga. I'm saying just another saga, but it's a lot of new characters, and some of them are fabulous. So, and it's like when you write a book, you get to know these people, you think they're real, and then you've got to let them go at the end, which is quite hard.
That must be hard.
Yeah, so that's my project at the moment. It's got to be done and in by, I think, February. So I've got a while to do.
So will that be out next year, or will that be what, 2023?
Yeah, it'll be out next year.
Next year.
You've got the paperback of this one. You've got the paperback of Mother Secret to come out. September, so they won't bring out another book till next year.
Yeah. And Sam, when's your next one going to be out? Will it be this year or next year?
I really don't know, to be honest. It's due in with the publisher in May, but they haven't yet given me a publication date. But as soon as I know, I'll be shouting out about it all over social media, as you can imagine, and sticking up links for pre-orders, etc.
And I get to read it first because I'm editing it, so I get to read it first.
Wonderful, that's good, isn't it? Knowing the story before everybody else does. Well, just to let everybody know that this will be, although we're recording this live, it will be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow, and it will be shared across social media, so you'll both be able to, you know, let your readers and fans have a watch as well. And next week, we're delighted to say we've got Caroline England coming along, and I believe that she's also bringing a friend who is an author along. So again, we've got a double author event. So Sam and Kitty, many thanks. Have a lovely evening over in Spain. I'll try and send you a bit of sunshine. And many thanks for taking part this evening. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.